Minute Multiplier is back with the last segment with John Martinez. Again, most of you guys know who John is or working with him, but we've just been having a really great discussion around his sales process right now. Particularly, it's broken down into motivation, deal killers, and the close. In the last two videos, we hit the first two. Today, wrapping up, John, what do we need to understand about the sales process when it comes to the close?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that when it comes to closing the deal, the selling, all the hard work's actually done. We're going to use what we learned in those first two parts, the motivation and the deal killers, to close the thing down. From a macro perspective, I'll just put it this way, right? If you really want something, motivation, right, and we remove all the deal killers systematically, there's nothing standing in the way of you from getting that thing, what naturally happens? You get it. I want it. There's nothing standing in the way. I end up with it. It's the same with the sales process. That's where we hit motivation, we eliminate deal killers. And then at the end, the close is just connecting all the dots to it. Number one is a presentation. Presentation is just connecting those dots. Listen, you said your motivation is X, Y, and Z. I want to explain this offer to you, the way we write the agreement, so we can specifically address X, Y, and Z and help you accomplish that, get there, get rid of that, whatever it is. Number two, the deal killers. Hey, listen, you said, when you're thinking about this, you've got a couple of really big and what I think are really important concerns. I want to address those with the way we structure the offer for you. You're really concerned about time frames, legitimacy, this, that. Here's how we address them, in our offer or just the way I explain my offer. So presentation is the first piece of the close. Second piece is going to be the negotiation. Chris Voss has great stuff on negotiation. I think the main pieces that are really easy to implement when it comes to negotiation is number one, price anchor. Most people use low comps, right? The reason why those are effective is you're kind of recalibrating their expectations. So whether you have low comps or not, sometimes if you have low comps, you get in trouble, right? Because they know of other properties that sold for more or they just don't accept them. You just have to introduce a number. So setting an anchor is as simple as, listen, a house like this, I would love to buy at $50K because I feel really safe. I knew I wasn't going to get into any trouble. Even if I discovered something bad, I could handle it. But I know there's no way you'd sell for $50K, right? So you can introduce that new number and back right off without even making an offer or offending anybody. But now we've just reset expectations. That's what low comps do. That's another way to do it. That's just what I feel is a little bit more effective and safe. And then probably the next thing I would say is when you get to your final offer, when you go back and forth, there's a couple pieces to it, but this is also really effective and simple. Just end with an odd number. If you go 100, then 110, then 120, it kind of feels like there's more. And the whole point of a negotiation is for someone to feel like they're getting the most out of the deal, that they're winning. So if you end on a number, instead of 110K, like 111, 255, naturally, the psychology behind it is this number came from somewhere, right? It's a signal that we hit the top. I can't go anymore. Third piece that I think is important, follow-up's important, but only follow up with the deals that you can't get on that first call. So the rule we live by is anything other than a yes is a no. So if you get to the end and you hit motivation, you hit deal killers, you hit presentation, you hit negotiation, you killed it all, don't accept a maybe or think it over. You just want to, in a very nice kind of way, let them know, hey, if it's not a yes, we got to call this a no, at least for now. And you take the deal off the table. And what will happen is one of three things. One thing that happens that's really good is it just pushes them over the edge. It's time to make the decision. You hear something oftentimes like, I've been dealing with this enough. I'm sick of it. Let's just get it done. The other thing that might happen is they say no. Totally cool. At least we know it's a no. At least we know what to do with our follow-up. At least we know where we're at right now. We don't even have to stop selling. We could say, hey, now that it's a no, now that it's over, what are you going to do when you're right back in the conversation? But you know where they're at mentally. It's always good to know where you are. The third thing that sometimes happens is you missed a deal killer, and that pops up. Motivation's good. They've got some stuff to think about. You take the deal off the table. They say something like, listen, no, it's not that. It's not that. It's not a no. I've just got to figure out, fill in the blank. And now you have that final piece to figure out. So that's essentially all the pieces of the close that we teach.
No, that's good. And so let me summarize that. Step one, connect all the dots, pulling that from the motivation and the deal killer. So it's almost like you kind of have a customized close at the end because you really
Absolutely
what those were. And so every close in that should be a little bit different on how we're coming in. Again,
Yep.
negotiations with the price anchor, huge, right? You said low comps. I love end with an odd number. What great language and something to consider. And of course, as they always say, you know, never take a maybe, right? It's got to be a yes or a no. Great principles, John, on the close. Much appreciated. Now, for the guys that are listening real quick, if they're like, you know what, I've heard about John, actually haven't worked with him myself, where do they go if they're interested in taking a little bit of a deeper look at your book?
The REI Sales Academy, it's at midwestrev.com or reisalesacademy.com. Our website has like 100, 200 free training videos, and then everything about all, you know, our training program. So everything can be found right there.
Awesome. All right. Minute Multipliers, good talking with you. And John Martinez, man, really appreciate your time, buddy. Thank you so much.